The 18-month acting program at the Maggie Flanigan Studio is an accelerated acting program based on Meisner acting techniques and principles. Oriana, a student in the acting program, talks about what it was like auditioning without professional training and her decision to start training in the acting program at the studio.
So before I started at the studio, I was studying theater in general at Hunter College, and it was a pretty good education, but I felt that as soon as I graduated, I wasn't really ready to start auditioning, and I wasn't sure what was missing for me, so I decided to look into the studio where I had a lot of friends that had been here before, and they said amazing things about it, so I was like, okay, I'll try it. So I was 18 when I found this studio that's focused on the Meisner technique. For me, that was a weird experience because I was very young and it felt as if the program was intrusive in a lot of ways that I wasn't ready to dive into those parts of me. So it was good once I started at this studio because I realized that the technique isn't intrusive at all. It just it allows you to find yourself, but it shouldn't feel like you're being violated emotionally. So that was my experience way back when, and it kind of turned me off for a little bit. Well, I'm not sure what I was expecting, to be honest. It's definitely demystified acting for me in a good way, where now I have so much more respect for it. I know that nothing is arbitrary, everything you're watching, there's an entire process, and knowing what that process is feels really rewarding versus just being oh, I'm talented, I think I can dive into a script. So I would go into an audition room and just flat read the script, and it would be super flat, and I was like, I hope they're getting what I'm trying to do. And it was horrible both for them and for me watching each other go through this. Being at the studio has taught me that I am more of an artist than I gave myself credit for before, and I do want to say certain things and make them clear. I was definitely not ready to go out and audition. It just felt like the next thing that I had to do after college. And after trying it out for a little bit, it just felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. And it wasn't because I wasn't good, it was just because I didn't know what I was doing. When you go to an audition, you always feel like the people auditioning you have all of the power. And now, because I kind of know what I'm doing, and I'm sure I'll know even more once my 2 years are done, I feel like it's kind of a conversation at audition, so they're not as intimidating anymore. Well, I used to do costumes as well, and I was assisting someone on a show, and I remember the main actress, she blew me away. There were 3 actors in the show, it was Mud, and I remember everyone was insanely talented, really hardworking, but something that stood out for me about her was that the stage managers loved her because she would hit every little thing that she had to do, and keeping the same emotional life, whereas I saw the other actors kind of had to play around a little bit, which was also fine, but the fact that they couldn't be as consistent as she was, and I was wondering how she did it. So when I asked her, she actually said that she'd come to this studio. As soon as I walked out of the elevator and I came in, I was like, this is it. I didn't know what it was. There's just something about the space that really feels sacred, and it's just it matches up with your passion. You're walking in and you don't know what you're doing, and then you open the door, and I remember there's this little thing on one of the walls that it's the home of the serious actor, and I remember looking at that and being like, okay, I'm home. This is it. This is the next step.
To learn more about the 18-month acting program at the Maggie Flanigan Studio, as well as the other acting programs at the studio, visit the acting programs page on the studio website. Interested actors with questions about enrollment and class schedules should call the studio directly at 917-789-1599.